A division which is presumed to be dominated by King Henry and the Titans, with incompetent Bill O'Brien lurking in the shadows. The AFC South is not going to be much different from last season, and in our opinion, one of the less exciting divisions in the NFL. Starting off, the Titans now reign supreme. I don't know if I would have them doing this well if it wasn't for their easy schedule, but with the addition of Javion Clowney and retaining most of their offensive pieces, I think they're going to win a lot of games this season. They do have the rushing champ still. They have a ton of receiving threats. A.J. Brown can ball. Corey Davis is talented. Jonnu Smith, their tight end, is going to have a big year this year. You heard it here first. I think their offense will be more dynamic than just handing the ball off to Henry. I think A.J. Brown's going to catch a lot more passes. Hopefully Corey Davis, for the first season ever, will be able to remain healthy. Maybe he'll even get to 1,000 yards. And like I said, Jonnu Smith is going to do really well. With their defense being solid, I think they'll finish the year with a strong 12-4 record.
The presumption that all of that is necessary is comical. You can remove Ryan Tannehill. You can remove Jadeveon Clowney. You can remove the tight end you're high on. It won't matter. Derrick Henry is the best rusher in all of football. He is the one man at his position who's capable of dragging the NFL kicking and screaming back 2 decades. He is the most dominant runner we have seen since Adrian Peterson, and he will continue to tear through the AFC on his revenge tour and trip back to the AFC Championship game. Will he run into some obstacles? Certainly. He has to play the Bills a few times. He has to play tough defenses like the Chicago Bears. He's got to play high-flying offense. He's got to play the Ravens. But that's not going to matter. Derrick Henry will carry this team to an 11-5 record, and they will win their division. And they will unleash havoc upon the playoffs yet again this year. You heard it here first. The reign of King Henry has just begun.
And I mean, so we're in agreement there. And moving on to the Texans, I understand that the Texans lost more players than they added. And as the great Pat McAfee puts it, Bill O'Brien is a stooge. It is also true that their defense couldn't stop a leak last year, and they haven't done anything to improve that. But they have one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL who just received a massive bag. And I say this every year, and it is a big if. If Will Fuller can stay healthy, he'll be one of the most productive receivers in the NFL. The problem is he's never healthy. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy. Brandon Cooks.
Well, who needs Will Fuller when you have a clear number one option as Randall Cobb? The replacement to DeAndre Hopkins.
I think Brandon Cooks is more the replacement to DeAndre Hopkins. Hopefully David Johnson will show up and do something. The Texans, as do the Titans, have a pretty easy schedule, and I have them finishing with a record of 10-6.
Both the two teams which lead the AFC South are dominated by one man. This team goes as far as Deshaun Watson dictates. Despite Bill O'Brien placing this man in handcuffs, removing the best weapon he has ever had and likely will ever have in DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson will persevere. It won't be pretty. It'll be gritty. He's going to win tough games. There are going to be high-flying air shows. There are going to be devastating losses to division rivals. But the Texans will scrape and claw their way into the playoffs with a 9-7 record. And Deshaun Watson will win his first NFL MVP award.
MVP with a 9-7 record?
Adrian Peterson won it as a 6th seed a long time ago because he was the only thing his team had going for him. Like Adrian Peterson back then, Deshaun Watson is really the only thing the Texans have going for them.
Speaking of a team that doesn't have much going for them,
I'm not going to applaud that transition.
The Indianapolis Colts. I don't really care that the Colts signed Phillip Rivers this offseason or that they have the best offensive lineman in the NFL in Quentin Nelson. Phillip is an old man that isn't able to throw that ball that well anymore. He is not going to be elevating anyone on their team to the promised land. Yes, they have a good, solid, young base that they are going to continue to build with. Adding Buckner was an excellent move. But at the end of the day, Phillip is not the answer. They're going to finish the year with a disappointing 4-12 record.
Here's the thing with the NFL in 2020. You need a good quarterback to win. You go look at the playoff teams from last year, and with the exception of maybe the Titans, everyone I feel had a good quarterback. That is what is holding the Indianapolis Colts back. They built this team, this amazing team with a great offensive line, a clear number one receiving threat in T.Y. Hilton, a good running back duo, and a strong, smothering defense for Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck retired on them. Wish him the best of luck in his retirement and hope he enjoys his life. But they are in a hole right now. They are trying desperately to find a quarterback who's going to be able to help this team win. He doesn't need to be great. He needs to be serviceable. And we must ask ourselves, do we think Phillip Rivers is going to be serviceable in his final year in the NFL before he retires? The answer is no. Phillip Rivers is going to be far from serviceable. If the Chargers were anything to go by last year, the team, which was similarly talented but continuously fell short, it's going to be a rough campaign. Through sheer strength of the roster, mainly the offensive line, I see the Colts going 8-8, but it's going to be a disappointing 8-8 with losses to competitive teams and will result in Phillip Rivers retiring to Florida.
Well, Jacoby Brissett was doing very well before he got injured. He just got injured and wasn't able to play healthy at all the majority of the season.
But by signing Phillip Rivers, it's pretty clear that they're going to move on from Jacoby, which I disagree with that decision somewhat, unless he's still hurt. But hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. Those Colts, they're used to elite quarterbacks. They just happened to get one 10 years too late.
Something that I am almost certain of, that I do know, is that this team is going to have the #1 overall pick in next year's draft. The Jaguars are going to be so bad next year that Minshew Mania isn't going to be able to do anything to help them win. You've seen it all over sports media. They've unloaded virtually any talent they have left on the roster. Josh Allen, their first-round pick from last year, Miles Jack, and Minshew are virtually the only pieces they have left. And the only game I have them winning next year is actually against the Colts. I think they're going to finish the year 1-15.
That is quite terrible. Slightly less terrible than I've got them. I've got them 2-14, but similar to what Tristan said, it's clear the Jaguars are trying to lose, and if this was the NBA, they'd be fined for deliberately tanking. The one saving grace of this team is Gardner Minshew. As we've seen last year, he's exciting. He can run around, create plays with his feet. If he gets rid of his turnover problem, he can be a real quarterback. And I think he's going to be able to elevate them to a few wins. And I think that's going to happen to the point where they're not going to be able to draft Trevor Lawrence. A team will finish with a similar record but lose the tiebreaker, and single-handedly, Gardner Minshew will sabotage the tank for Trevor and punish the Jacksonville Jaguars for the suffering he's about to go through this next 16-game season.
Maybe they even get rid of him, and next thing you know, there's no one left on the roster.
If Gardner Minshew wins their first game and they cut him, I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, that has been the video. Like, subscribe, check out all our other predictions that we've been posting. We're posting one for every division, and we'll see you in the next one.